Hello and welcome back to Bernò. At this point I would also like to welcome all the new subscribers. We finally reached the 300 mark, which makes me pretty happy. And to all the people who are still subscribed to me, why though? I think you need to see a doctor. But no, jokes aside, it's really nice. I'm really happy to still have you around, folks. With that said, a quick disclaimer. I have been sick for the last 2 weeks. It's nothing too worrying, don't worry. But my throat is very sore. I don't know how much you will hear that throughout the video, but I think I catched a good moment, and I will quickly use it to finally record this episode. And as it's been quite a time since my last one, and typical Tauli, I would say at this point. Enough of that, and let's talk about today's episode. So, as the title says, we are crossing the creek. As I said in the last episode, I teased you in the end of the episode and said what I was going to do. And we are starting pretty much around the Tram Depot. This is something we placed there a few episodes ago. It was quite a struggle to finally find a good spot for it. But I think with this location I found one, and now we are pretty much working on it. Not too much work, it's pretty much just adding a whole bunch of roads around it and some tram tracks just to give trams a better way to maneuver around the complex, I would say. And I think I did that off camera, but I also added like a few extra warehouses where the trams can park, and it's more to the back of the facility. I'm actually using the Dresden Tram Depot by Sven Berlin. First, because I really like this asset, and second, because it has the names of various creators on one of its walls, and it's like a little homage Sven Berlin did, and I really liked the idea and wanted to have that in the city as well. And as you can see right now, I'm flipping the whole thing to make the wall with the names face towards the road, so it's a little bit more visible for me, because this is the angle I most look down on the city from. Is that correct? I don't know. But you get my idea, right? And as I said, it's pretty much all just basic detailing. But let me quickly address this clip. So I loaded back the game after I finished working and saved and wanted to continue working, and suddenly I was at a prop limit, and I had a random tower of 40,000 benches near the train main station. That was actually pretty funny. I deleted it using Move It, and I think it has something to do with me changing a few mods in the city. Basically, I got rid of Prop It Up, and I'm using Bob the tree and prop replacer instead, and with that I had to change a few other mods just for the sake of compatibility, and I think that was the reason why this happened. But as nothing really broke down or anything like that, it was just like a funny thing. It gave me a shock for the first moment, but it was funny in the end. And after I changed all the mods, you can actually take a look on that in my mods list. It's always down in the description if you want to take a closer look on what good old me is using. I feel like everything is running a little bit better, but I'm not sure if it's just like because I was also like working in a new neighborhood which was not that detailed already, so maybe that gave me the impression that everything is running a little bit better. But I also didn't have any issues with the new mods or anything like that. Only like a minor thing with Tree Anarchy, but it could be resolved by now. The footage of this episode is actually pretty old. I finished building that when the last episode came up, basically. So it's pretty old. Maybe the issue is already resolved, but with Tree Anarchy, although my Anarchy was on, I couldn't place trees anywhere near networks, and it got quite annoying, to be honest with you. But thanks God, Move It exists. It was a good workaround, and now I'm placing down a school, and I'm placing it down before I'm placing down any roads in this neighborhood, because with the Tram Depot this is like the second like major landmark of this neighborhood, if you can use it like that. Those were like the older buildings which existed there before everything else got built around it. And yeah, now we're coming to the fun part, placing down all the roads. And yeah, as we have the Tram Depot here, and we had a tram track going to this Tram Depot to basically serve the city. Yeah, when it all got built, this was basically a whole nothingness, and yeah, suddenly housing projects started popping up left and right of the tram tracks, because people were able to live a little bit further out from the city center and still work in the city center. So yeah, and still get like to the city center with the trams in a manly manner or in a manly time. I don't know what I'm talking about, but I think you get the point. Like, it's a tram neighborhood. I tried to pretty much reflect that in the road layout, make it like look like it grew organically around the tram tracks. I think I achieved quite an okayish job on that. Probably could have been better. But we can't forget that everything here is at a very steep slope, so I have to take that into consideration as well. Yeah. So now we are at the basically corner where we will be focusing on today. As off camera, I'm going to do a whole bunch of work and fill in this whole neighborhood. Keep an eye on the population counter, so you basically know when I'm done with that. And yeah, this episode will basically result in this upper area, so it doesn't get too confusing to you. I thought like also this is the most interesting part of what I've built. Yes. So I also placed down this gymnastics hole from the Green Cities DLC, and actually the Green Cities DLC is one of my favorite DLCs. I think the assets in there aged pretty good. I still love to use them all around, and they look fantastic. Like, it could be a workshop asset, to be honest with you, and you wouldn't notice. Oh yeah, only if you knew, obviously, but yeah, you get the point. And also, as we are like slowly moving further away from the city center, I talked about that many times, but yeah, we will everything will get a little bit more wider, spread apart. I know this neighborhood is probably still a little bit packed, but we already have like more parking lots and stuff like that, and open spaces in it compared to other parking lots, to other neighborhoods. I'm sorry. The reason why it's so packed, because it was basically the first, like, someday when I talk about the lore, it will make a lot of sense. Like, Bernò in the past was like a really industrialized hub, and we had all the industry where the downtown is today, so there wasn't really that space, and the winds and all that stuff, so there wasn't like really and the mountains and the distances, so there wasn't like really a lot of space to expand the city to, and that's why also these working neighborhoods also got like pretty dense, although they were a little bit more out of the city and theoretically had more space, but practically no. My camera work in this episode might be a little bit wonky as well. That has something to do because I did a lot of work off camera, and sometimes I started recording and I wasn't like really like paying attention too much after I got used to just like don't pay attention to my camera work because I was doing off camera work. Yeah, I basically messed up. I'm sorry. I will pay more attention to that. I tried to make it as acceptable as possible in the while editing the video together. I hope I kind of succeeded with that, and yeah, I'm sorry. Also placing down this parking lot right behind this police station. We will come back to it in a later moment in this episode and finish detailing it. In the meantime, we will be slowly filling up the spaces between, and we are filling up the upper neighborhood now, which is more towards the mountainside. And this is also the part where we are like slowly transitioning from the high density buildings, at least like in the tab, high density buildings to the low density buildings, so the population jumps won't be as dramatic, but it will also like visually transition the city from the high density buildings to the lower density buildings to the edge of the town. So in my past projects, I always used to struggle with like the end of the cities. I really didn't know how to end my cities and where to end them, and it always like looked pretty awkward and not fitting. But I think in this case, it's kind of working out pretty good. Like I'm still not 100% done because I still didn't get 100% to the edge, but from what I'm seeing already, I'm quite happy with it. I don't know if I already want to ask you for your opinion at this point, but yeah, you are always free to give me your opinion. I don't delete anything. As if I would receive that many comments to honestly be deleting them, so yes. You can also see that I'm using a lot, like I'm using the same building a lot of times behind of each other. So my idea with that was that it was pretty much like one housing project that got built, and to save costs, they pretty much used the same building over and over again to make it like a little bit less expensive for the residents later. And yeah, here you can see this wonderful shot. I did a lot of filling in houses and detailing and putting some trees down while off camera, and this is pretty much the result of that. And now we are finally detailing the police station, as I promised before. I won't be showing you the whole detailing process, as I noticed that most of you aren't too interested in that. Maybe I understood my analytics wrong, maybe not, I don't know. You can correct me in the comments, but I will like stick more to this approach where I show you a little bit of the beginning and then a little bit of the end, and you figure out yourself what I did in between those two clips. I honestly like this approach also a little bit more, because like when I detail I have to move the camera a lot, and when I'm recording I try like to not move the camera a lot, and when I do that all off camera I can have my fun with the camera. I also decided like to ban parking on this road. It's basically the road which runs alongside the creek, and place some planters and trees and stuff like that on it, just to make it a little bit more green and more individual, and also like to distinguish it a little bit from the other roads. Nothing of a big deal, but yeah, still took quite some time. And we are back at the school, pretty much where we started before adding, 6,000 population or something like that. I don't remember where we started when we started this episode. But pretty much like detailing the school a little bit, adding some sport courts around it. Like one is already implemented with the asset itself, and I added a second basketball field next to it, which is like it belongs to the school, but it's like still openly available for everyone when it's not in use by the school. And yeah, also some fences around the goals, just so that people don't get hit by balls. Oh man, I got hit by balls a lot in my youth, and oof, I hate that, and I hated it. And here you can see me using Bob, the tree and prop replacer. Basically, a pretty nice feature of this mod is that you can move certain props in assets to another location, which is like absolutely great. Like I don't know why in this particular asset all the props were off a little bit, but with this mod I could basically move them back into place or into a better place, and it's awesome. And here you can also see like how sometimes the networks flicker red because I'm like trying to put trees too close to it. I don't understand why that is happening, although my anarchy was on. But as I mentioned, it was a little bit annoying. I hope it's fixed by the time I work on the city again, which will be soon because the next episode is not recorded, and I'm getting in the mood again to do something in the city. So yeah, but I'm not quite sure what will be up next. We will see. It will be something around this area again, I guess. But again, maybe not. Who knows? But we are slowly getting to the end of today's episode. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope my Sowers Road wasn't such of a big deal, and my rambling as well. But I mean, if you subscribe to me, by this point you should have gotten used to it, I guess. Maybe you even like it, I don't know, but if that's the case, oof. Yeah. Anyways, if you enjoyed today's episode, consider giving it a like. If not so much, you can always give it a dislike. Yeah, also quickly, I'm going to show you the prop count, so you have an idea on how many props were spent in that episode. But yeah, that's all for today. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Until then, have a good time. Hello and welcome back to some... lol.